Hi, my name is Reagan Wilson, and this is the second half to my multimedia project. For some reason, I thought that I had to do two separate PowerPoints for each author when I only had to do one, but I'm just going to continue on with my next author, which is Rupi Kaur, and my topic is still views of the world as illustrated in poetry. So going straight into Kaur's biography, Kaur was born in Punjab, India. Her mother was an extremely creative person. She took on many hobbies, one being painting, which interested Kaur and I'm sure guided her to be the creative person that she is today. And her father loved poetry because it connected him to their culture, which I'm assuming is also what inspired Kaur to look into poems and writing and things such as that. Now, Kaur would feel quite distant and sometimes embarrassed by her parents because of who they were, and it would put a strain on her. Her having a different culture from everyone else did make her feel a little bit isolated. She felt like she really couldn't fit in, and that was something that caused some problems. And her parents would also deal with a bunch of racism towards them, and it would upset her a great deal because, on one hand, she was wondering why she couldn't be like everyone else, but on the other hand, she didn't want any harm to come to her or her family just for who they were. And English was Kaur's second language, and as she grew to learn it, she really did fall in love with it. She became fully interested in English as the subject. And with the care and love she puts into her poems, I can really feel the love she has for English as a learning topic. And Rupi did get very famous moving on to the career. She got very big, very famous for her poem Milk and Honey. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. Many YouTubers have talked about it. It's on a lot of people's coffee tables. It's a very big conversation starter, and it was a poem that created a lot of stir considering it was such an uplifting feminist poem, which is a recurring theme in Kaur's work because she is a very, very strong woman. And the poem sold extremely heavily. She had many of her poetry books sell extremely well, and considering she is such an inspirational person, I'm sure this drove the sales to even go up as well. And because she was such a strong woman, it really shines through in her writing, showing her life story, and it really does heighten that for me. And now I'm going to read you The Sun and Her Flowers. This is one of her other very well selling, very popular poems. This is just an excerpt considering it was a poetry book. It starts off with, "This is the recipe of life, said my mother, as she held me in her arms as I wept. Think of those flowers you plant in the garden each year. They will teach you that people too must wilt, fall, root, rise in order to bloom." And in my poem to topic for this one, I believe that it was very inspirational, and in Sun and Flowers, Rupi Kaur focuses on the themes of love and loss, trauma and abuse, healing, femininity, and the feminine body, while also touching on the subject of heartbreak and loss. And in the world today, considering this is a very present poem, very new, especially like I said in my last multimedia project in 2022, situations like this happen every day very frequently, especially to women, and that's why I think a lot of her poems, and this one specifically, do connect to the world today in that feminism has risen up, and hatred and backlash towards women is still prominent even though it shouldn't be, and I feel like her poems are a step in the right direction. And having my second reading, my final thoughts and changes, after reading her life story and then rereading the poem. Like I said in my last one, I don't really have too many things, but I do feel like knowing her life story and what she went through and how she grew from it and the person she is today, I feel like that definitely shines through in her writing. Her writing feels almost emotionally strong as she is, and I feel like it definitely boosts the inspiration it gave to me, and I think it just kind of sheds some light on some different details in her poems. And here's my works cited, and that is my completed multimedia project. Thank you.